What is happening on CNN? I don't know if you're Brat. I think you aspire to be Brat. You just don't become Brat. You have to try.
That is a cool thing. It has a color. Chartreuse is the color, and Kamala Harris has adopted that for...
Remember yesterday when we didn't live in this timeline and I said, I really hope that they don't lean into this meme or any number of different memes that the Kamala Harris campaign will probably inevitably lean into in an effort to keep the momentum organic. It took them literally less than 12 hours to actually obliterate it. I fucking hate these careerist charlatans. Some of you are in here that make these short-term beneficial goals in an effort to get some news media coverage around it. And then you end up cooking your organic marketing opportunities. That is definitely a 30-year-old staffer that is responsible for this, leaning into the Brat memes. You fucked it up. It's so short-sighted. Don't do it. This is what happened with Dark Brandon. Well, the thing is, with Dark Brandon, it was making fun of how old he is. So him leaning into it didn't really matter in either direction because he was still fucking old. Kamala Harris does have the capacity to just like be herself and then have people meme her. Problem is, if she tries to lean into it a little bit, it's going to end up cutting down the organic share value.
Whatever social media page that is. But I have brought some notes because I knew you would want a definition. Okay, here we go. Charli XCX, who I do know, quote, Brat, you're just that girl who is a little messy and likes to party and maybe says some dumb things sometimes, end quote.
So it's the idea that we're all kind of Brat and Vice President Harris is Brat? I don't know if
you're Brat. I think you aspire to be Brat.
Right.
Jake. You don't just become Brat.
Oh, okay.
You have to try.
You can work at it.
I will aspire to be Brat. I will aspire. But I mean,
I'm Brian Kilme. We're all Brian Kilme today.
The point is that she is, whether it's her or some very clever people who work for her, going right for them in a language of their own that apparently nobody at this table speaks.
To quote another generation.
Except for you, because you think you're 23.
Maybe this is your generation. She's going to
I'm the closest.
You're a millennial. Take it easy.
So you tell me, is this your... She's going to own it.
She's going to own it.
Own it.
Well, I mean, the truth of the matter is, at 59, she is the youngest candidate in the race. And also, Donald Trump is now the oldest living presidential nominee.
That is true. We did see some of this with her first run. The K-Hive, if you will. Like, she did have a huge social media presence 5 years ago when she was running unsuccessfully.
Didn't do much good, though.
It did not do much good for her electoral outcome, but she did have that kind of entree into this world, and I think it's going to be turbocharged now for this.
All right. Thanks.
For those...
Bro, bringing up organic marketing that you just got from Charli XCX to the fucking K-Hive, you should not be allowed to speak on these matters. Come on, dog. You don't got like a single person. What is going on? I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop saying no to when these outlets actually ask me on. It cuts away from my stream time, so I usually say no. But I feel like I have to start chirping at this shit. Harry Daniels sings to Kamala Harris a new video.
Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess. Paparazzi catch my fly and my cocky fresh. I'm so reckless when I rock this Givenchy dress, period. Yes.
Hi.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Well, yes.
Who is that guy?
What is this? I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm getting angry because I don't understand what you're showing me. I'm like an old man. Oh, also, once again, Republicans hitting the good notes. In terms of Hogwatch, which we are going to get to now. Representative Tim Burchett, a conservative Republican from Tennessee, Vice President Kamala Harris as a DEI hire.
Question to a Republican Congressman, Tim Burchett of Tennessee, about the fact that they would be going up against someone who would be the first Black South Asian woman who could be president of the United States and what that means for the Republican campaign.
Biden said, first off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president, and that he just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group?
Ew, he sounds like a Redditor. Gross. God, these guys are they're so messy, bro. The Republican Party, I don't know what adjective to use in this situation. Like they're so lame and so messy right now. What about white females? Shut up, man. Now, the irony, of course, in this statement is that Biden did actually make the DEI statement, which is unfortunate because they can always go back to that conversation and be like, well, Biden is the one who said this was an affirmative action pick personally. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, notice back in the day, they used to say it for affirmative action. Now they say DEI. The words changed, but the message didn't, if you know what I mean. Yeah, DEI is the new welfare queen. The new affirmative action is just another way to say woke. However, I did say this when Biden came out and was like, hey, I'm actually getting Kamala. I'm choosing like a black woman as my VP. I'm choosing a black woman as the Supreme Court of the United States Justice. For the Supreme Court of the United States Justice is like, you are undermining their accomplishments and their background and their achievements when you say that, dumbass. And the reason why he said it is because he is kind of old and racist. So he basically kind of threw ahead of time. And I called it out back then. Only kind of old and racist? No, he's definitely old and racist. Not kind of. I'm just trying to be charitable here because he dropped out. Anyway, DEI.
When you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
Are you suggesting?
Notice you put Kamala in your title. Thoughts on the view that using women's first names and men's last names for politicians is delegitimizing and keeping gender in their focus? This is literally the one day where I didn't write Brandon and you sniped it. That's an insane take, dude. No, the reason why I'm using Kamala instead of Harris is because Kamala is a unique name. When someone's name is unique, when their first name is unique, that's like a more identifiable trait. Someone said Brandon is his last name. Brother, yeah, everybody says Bernie instead of Bernie Sanders instead of Sanders. But also, do you not understand the reason why I call him Brand? I'm making fun of him when I say Brandon. No, this was a popular video talking about how men will typically call women in positions of power by their first name, i.e. Hillary, not Clinton. This was a study done in 2020. I think in terms of like I'm sure that's correct. I'm sure that there is validity to that. Except the reason why I'm using Kamala instead of Harris is because Kamala is a more unique name. When I write a title like that and I have limited space, I have to use an economy of words. I mean, that creates a environment where I'm just using like terms like Brandon. Didn't she go by Hillary to avoid the name association with the Clintons? I think she went by Hillary because Clinton, her husband, was president. Gretchen Whitmer, though, yeah, I do call her Big Gretch. I don't know.
She was a DEI hire.
It kind of undermines her achievements, though. Wait, what? What undermines whose achievements? Calling Kamala Harris Kamala undermines her achievements? Man, get this fucking libtard shit out of here, okay? Okay, give a fucking inch to these goddamn losers, and immediately they're like, well, it's time to drive the narrative panic into Radfem territory immediately. The least fucking productive way that we can have a conversation. God damn! Radlibs, one fucking day. One goddamn day. Let it breathe. You can't have one fucking day without turning around and be like, me. Oh my God.
100%. She was a DEI hire. He said he was going to hire, and she didn't. Her record is abysmal at best.
We know that as a former prosecutor, she can prosecute the case against a convicted felon and make the case to the American people that she is really primed and ready to take over as the leader of our country.
And that last Congressman Dan Golden, a Democrat from New York, expressing what a lot of other Democrats are saying. They believe that she can draw a sharper contrast with Donald Trump than Joe Biden was able to, also to bolster key parts of the Democratic coalition that was frankly struggling, that Joe Biden was struggling to put back together again, whether it was minority voters, young voters, and the like. Perhaps Harris can do that. But what does she do to vulnerable Democrats in key districts in key states? Another key question for Democratic leaders as they assess this huge change to the top of the ticket and what it means for their efforts to keep control of the Senate and take back the House.
Yeah, they've just completely given up on being normal and appealing to normal people.